Is love enough to survive distance, or does distance slowly kill it? We broke up because, you know, I was staying in Europe. She was moving to the States to study. So we made the decision to break up and just stay as friends, which that in itself is that stay as friends is a controversial opinion between us two. But anyways,
I have to watch last week's episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I find that admirable.
Yeah,
incredibly mature for people so young, because you were still 17 when you took that decision, or maybe even late 16s, right?
When we made the decision that we knew we were going to do it, we were like 17 around there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, early 17.
Mature.
But also that's because I'd have to say that this isn't something that I was like, oh, I've never tried long distance, but I don't want to try it. It was every summer she did go to the States for the whole summer for 2.5 months. And during that time, it was terrible for me.
Did you feel any of that jealousy that, man, she's doing
definitely,
stuff that,
definitely.
You know, or maybe she's talking to people that I don't know. She's telling me about her friends, and I don't know who the hell their friends are. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely think that the jealousy element was there, kind of not being there with her, you know, and kind of not being able to share those moments with her. And
fear of missing out. Yeah.
Exactly. FOMO, like they say.
FOMO.
How did you guys communicate? It must have been with letter and pen and paper, no?
It was purely letters. In fact, I thought I haven't had time, but I wanted to look for a few of the letters to show you here. Yeah, it was the only way to communicate, with letter and occasional, very, very occasional long distance phone calls. Because they were very expensive. And I remember I used to go very occasionally, like maybe once a month or something, to my grandparents' house, because we didn't have a phone at the time, to call her. And they were literally, and I'm not kidding, like maybe 3-4 minute calls. Hi, how are you? Love you, blah, blah, see you later. And what can I say? What's my experience and my takeaway from long distance relationship? Ultimately, my recommendation to anybody would be to try to avoid them.
Yeah.
My experience wasn't particularly pleasant, but at the same time, it's what actually kept me going. I used to be a total romantic, so I used to write her songs with my guitar and then make her mixtapes and really cheesy stuff. So that kind of kept me going, but at the same time, it was horrible. She would write to me with all the best intentions in the world. She would write to me telling me everything that she was doing. Letters that would take maybe a month to arrive.
Yeah.
Right, so by the time I got it, all this had already been a month ago, and she would tell me all the parties she'd been to, all the people she'd met, how amazing her university life was. You know, she was job hunting and trying to get a part-time job. And of course, intermixed with all this was, I miss you, I love you, this and this. But a lot of that sounded a little bit hollow, because it didn't look like she was missing me very much. It's a great question that you're asking me, because I ask you exactly the opposite question, is like, how come you decided not to have a long distance relationship? To me, it was out of the question. You know, we were in love and we were young, and we were young adults, and how could you not? How could you break up just because you're going away? My big takeaway of the long distance relationship was the following. People change. Especially when you're young. I put all my eggs in that one basket, and then I finally did make it to the UK. And after we were in the UK, I think the year after, we'd broken up. And part of the reason we broke up was that I realized, and she realized eventually, that during those 2 years apart, we'd grown apart. We had changed. With my last girlfriend before I met Mom, that long distance relationship was terrible for her anyway, because when she got back and she got off the plane, I broke up. I broke up with a poor girl, and that's, in that case, that long distance relationship served its purpose.
I remember one of them, when she came back, she straight away had a nose operation. So when she came back, I couldn't see her. And you asked this question because of this, didn't you? Yeah, I knew you did. When she finished operation, I was like, well, I can see you now, right? And she was like, no, I look very bad. I was like, okay, respectfully, I don't care. Yeah. And
even worse, I don't know if you remember this, but then the worst thing was that during all that time that she wasn't seeing you, she was seeing all her friends. She didn't have a problem with her friends going over to see her, and you were like, what?
Yeah. I do remember that. Finally, I did convince her to let me see her, and yeah. When I saw her, it was fine, like, oh, I finally...
Did you go, oh my God!
As usual, I am your host, Gabriel Yasod, and I am joined by my dad.
I am your father.
There we go.